Howdy, 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 guys. Welcome to episode 112 of Cliff Notes Live. Welcome to a Monday evening. I hope y'all are doing fantastic. What is it, the 23rd or so? I guess we've got one more Monday left in January. This year is going so fast already. But I'm glad I get to spend Monday evening with y'all. Before going further, a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids. Love reality fans out there, and especially love you guys that hang with me on a Monday night. Oh, and those who watch a little bit later. I know there's a lot of y'all out there as well. I certainly appreciate all of y'all. Just have so much fun doing this. Just fun chatting with y'all and answered a few questions. Tonight's kind of open ended. I got a few stories. I got a little squirrel story to tell you. I've been binging a lot of reality TV and things like that, so we'll talk about that. But if y'all got any questions, any topics y'all want to talk about, bring them on. I'm kind of an open book tonight, so we'll see what's going on. Y'all know this show. Who knows where it goes by the end of the hour? But hey, wherever it goes, it goes. So throw your questions out to me. Before we do that, so we'll go ahead and say hi to all my friends out there. Keith Franken, howdy, sir. You're first one this evening. I hope you're doing fantastic. Brian Hosteller, yeah, we're going to talk little squirrels here this evening. Kiki, hope you're doing well. Michelle Moore as well. Better not be haunted. Cindy Hire, hi, Cindy, how are you doing? Ma is angry. How are you, Ma? And Amanda Lowe and Jenny Gazafi. Jenny, how are you doing this evening? Yeah, again, as I said before, we're going to talk a little squirrel this evening. Let's see. Marilyn Sutherland. Welcome, Marilyn. Hope you're doing fantastic. Wyatt Garrett as well. Hey, Wyatt, always nice to see you out here. And Mark Taylor and Misfire. I don't want to forget Misfire either. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Kind of a weird evening this evening. It's not too bad down here in Houston right now, but they're saying tomorrow we're supposed to get close to hurricane force winds, which not quite hurt. 60 mile per hour winds, cold, rainy. Good day to be staying indoors and just taking it easy instead. So I'm gonna do this. I gotta work, but beyond that, good day to be staying indoors. I know. I watched the Buffalo Bills game versus the Bengals. Was that yesterday or 2 days ago? Saturday. God, I don't know how y'all folks up in the north handle all that snow and everything. I'm a Texas boy. I'm not sure I could handle that kind of cold and snow and moisture everywhere. I'll take the occasional hurricane over that. I do believe. All right, so let's talk a little bit about a few things. First of all right, let's start Misfire. I see Misfire posted. We'll talk about that real quick. Congratulations to Amber on her pregnancy. Mark Taylor saying, do I feel for Amber and Chauncey? All right, two different questions that both involve Amber, right? Let's talk about the first one. Amber announced yesterday. I think yesterday was when she announced it. I don't think she'd announced it before that, that she's pregnant. She's going to have a baby. I'm so happy for her. I met Amber in Arlington, Texas at the Big Brother fight night between Big Brother Canada versus Big Brother USA. And she was there just in the audience. And I made sure I had a picture. I need to find it somewhere. I made sure I got a picture with her because, yeah, I enjoyed watching her when she played Big Brother. And now she's done okay on the challenge. She always feels like she's an outcast, and maybe she is a little bit, but friendliest person when I talk to her. So nice. And so, yeah, it's cool that she's got to have a baby. I see a few different people that are pregnant from Big Brother, the Big Brother family, and it's so cool watching all these Big Brother people that are getting married, having babies, just regular life, not necessarily in front of the camera, which sometimes it's a good thing. But yeah, I'm so happy for Amber. It's really cool. So that's gonna be great. Christine from Big Brother 16 is pregnant. She's got to be getting pretty close as well. So yeah, we got a few like that. Now, the other topic that Mark was talking about, do I feel sorry for Amber and Chauncey? For those of you who don't watch the challenge or who haven't watched it yet, be warned because there's a little bit of a spoiler right here because on the challenge Ride or Dies, spoiler alert, we did lose Amber and Chauncey. Yeah, I don't know. Do I feel sorry for them? Yeah, but Amber already has won the challenge. She's already won quite a bit of money, so I don't feel too sorry for her. I mean, it's just a game at the end of the day. But I don't have anything against them, and I understand the way she she always felt like she didn't quite fit in with the rest of the vets and all of that. And I think she's got a point. She just hadn't quite made it in with that level of players and everything else. But I wanted to see Chauncey get a little bit longer time to play the game as well. 'Cause it seems like I think they'll be back. I think both of them will be. So yeah, and I don't know that I feel sorry for him. I was rooting for him. I would have loved to see them just because they were a little bit of an outcast. And so I always like to cheer for the underdog, the outcast. From the challenge, before we move on to anything else, from the challenge, who I'm cheering for right now, Olivia and Horacio. I'd love to see them do well because they're the newbie team that's still left, and that'd be fantastic. Mark saying your top three all-time challenge players. Mine are CTs, Bananas, and someone else. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Throw Wes in there. Yeah, I mean, how do you not say CT and Bananas? I'll throw Wes in there. Seems like I'm kind of male heavy on it. I don't know. Some of the women are. I don't know. I mean, I'm I'm trying to think some of the women players. Seems like there's a little bit more, a whole grouping of women who have played. I mean, there's people like Tori who, uh, there's times even this season I wasn't real happy the way she handled her relationship with Jordan, threatening their relationship and all that. But there's some strong players on the women's side. But yeah, I don't know. I'd go with CT and Wes and Bananas. I'll throw who could I may throw Devin in there. As much as he hates Big Brother people, I still like watching Devin play. He never I don't think he takes anything too seriously. And I got to cheer for. I'm always going to be cheering from a Big Brother family. So Fessel and Josh. Josh will come back, right? Yeah, it's not the same with that Josh in there. So I'll be cheering for all my Big Brother folks as well. All right. Let's see. We may talk more challenge a little bit, but I don't want to go forever with it. All right. Miss Fire saying, can I name the squirrel? Well, Miss Fire, yeah, you can go for it. I think the squirrel in the Big Brother house, I think it had a name. I think it was Benji. I don't know where I heard that from. Maybe that's, yeah, some of y'all know better than I do. I just didn't want to deal with that squirrel, which kind of leads to my own squirrel story. And I'll go ahead and tell it now, and then we'll come back to some comments as well. So, for those of you who may or may not know, I've got a love-hate relationship with animals and nature and my homestead, my house here. I dealt last year with bees, got that taken care of. I had to eventually call out a bee wrangler, and he wrangled them bees and got them out of the front porch. So that was good. Well, now I got squirrels, and I like squirrels. Squirrels and I normally we're okay. We're all just a bunch of nuts, but these squirrels not so. They actually found a little spot up in the corner of the house, and they found a little spot to get in from the cold. Which I don't want squirrels up in an attic having babies or anything else. I've been trying to chase them out of there. I've been putting all kinds of garlic powder packs up there and some mothballs and things like that. Fortunately, they aren't in the main part of the house. They're in a little overhang, but still, I can't get them out. They're dedicated squirrels. Come to find out, everyone in our whole little neighborhood has the same issue. The neighbor across the street was talking to me about it yesterday. The neighbor next door is talking about it. So we all got together, said, man, we're going to have to do something about it. So I finally gave up. As much as I've tried, I've spent more time up in the attic yelling and shining flashlights and acting like a mean monster for the squirrels. They aren't my squirrel friends anymore. They're the enemy. And so as a result, we finally called some folks, and later this week, I gave up. I said, I can't do it. I gave up, and yeah, Brian saying they went over the leftover honey. Now that you say that jokingly, I do. That is something I got to consider. But yeah, we finally gave up. I got a guy coming out who's going to close up all the holes, so our house is squirrel proof once again. I keep hearing all these people say, but make sure you get the squirrels out first, because otherwise they're going to be trapped indoors and they may be coming downstairs to visit you instead. So before the guy comes, I'm going to have to go up in the attic with a bunch of bells or horns or something and scream and holler. And, when we were on Big Brother, Tommy Bracco had the the infinity running around with his sounds, his horns, that horrible smelling stuff. I need to get Tommy over here, get up in my attic. Some of that stuff we had, that was the worst smelling stuff that Tommy ran around with. And I know watching on TV, you don't really understand just how noxious that stuff was. It was horrific. If I put Tommy up in the attic with that stuff, I have a feeling that the squirrels would be gone. Tommy would probably tear a hole through the roof to get out of there as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get the squirrels out Thursday so that they aren't trapped inside when the guy comes and does it. So yeah, I gave up the battle. I'm getting someone else to do it instead. So yeah, come next Monday, I should have a better story to tell about squirrels. But I was thinking about it, and it is funny that on my season of Big Brother, we had the squirrels show up on day number 1 and capture 4 of us and send us off to banishment. Had to go through the dark forest to get back into the game and all of that. That was horrible. I mean, it's not enough that you get booted from the Big Brother house on your very first day, which just killed me. But then to have it happen by a giant squirrel that pulls a bag over the top of your head, what an embarrassing way to close out your Big Brother career. I hated that. And as soon this squirrel started walking through the house, a life size, not life size, human size squirrel walking through the house. As soon as I saw that squirrel show up, I knew he was coming for me. I just knew it. I mean, at that point, you could just tell the way people were looking at me and all that. And so, sure enough, here comes the squirrel and throws a bag over my head. But here's the kicker: because I was the first person picked, when I was going into that contest to see who would go back into the house and who was going to get banished from the game, I had no idea who the other 3 people were because I'd been picked first. And they wouldn't tell me. They said, "Nah, Cliff, you're just going to find out a little bit later." And they actually didn't tell us until we got inside this dark forest. And right before we went inside, I heard David Alexander's voice. And so I thought, all right, well, David's here. And I thought David's pretty athletic. I'm going to have a hard time competing against him. But then I also, right as we were going inside, I heard someone say Kimmy's name. I mean, Kimmy's name. I heard someone say Jessica's name. And so then I knew it was her as well. And yeah, and then Kimmy as well. And so, yeah, that squirrel, that silly little squirrel, big squirrel. Sorry, I got him back on the battle back competition. When I won the battle back, I was so happy. I grabbed my hat, I threw it like a frisbee. Didn't plan on it, but the frisbee went straight to where the little squirrel replica was set up at the other end of the competition, knocked the squirrel off the log. And so that was my victory back over the squirrels. And I'm going to have another victory this week as well. Now, a little bit of a segue, and then I'll get somebody else's comments. Talking about throwing my hat like a frisbee and all this. All right, we'll do this first. Brian's saying, could this be a sign that you're going back into the house this year? Well, if one of these little squirrels wants to show up with a bag, I'll squeeze in. Yeah, they can haul me all the way back to Burbank, California, and sure, I if that's what it takes. Hey, squirrel and I can be best friends once again. If that's good. All right, yeah. Call me squirrels. I haven't seemed to intent. They don't seem to be the TV watching kind of squirrels, but hey, you never know. Squirrels, owls, and Orwell can fly me back. The squirrels can drag me back in their little suitcase, whatever they want to do. But sure, bring me back. I'm ready to go. I mentioned throwing my hat like a frisbee, which just kind of turns into a segue. I really don't plan this out. It just kind of worked. Did y'all know on this day, and now I can't remember, I want to say in 1960, on this day, though, the frisbee was introduced to the American public by Whammo. Y'all remember Whammo? I think Whammo did frisbees and yo-yos, I think, if I recall. But originally they were called Pluto platters. And I guess originally they'd been pie tins that college students were just throwing around. Someone pretty smart said, you know what? I bet we could make those things a little fancier and sell them as toys. And they did. Do you know Whammo made $100 million? And this is in 1960s dollars. So that's a lot. Of course, it's a lot of money now. Give me $100 million. I'll make it work. But 1960s dollars, they made $100 million before they sold the Frisbee brand to Mattel. And whoever invented that, hope he just wasn't some low-level employee of Mattel that maybe got a free turkey for Christmas as a bonus for it. So I hope he benefited from it and got a little profit himself off the frisbee. But yeah, the frisbee's been around. So what's that mean? 60, 65 years, something like that, of people playing frisbee, disc golf, all that stuff. A little story for you from when I was a kid. I don't think they even do it now, but back in the day when we actually had books instead of reading everything online, one of my brother, Robert, he and I, one of our favorite books that we had ever gotten for Christmas was the Guinness Book of World Records. Do y'all remember that? It was a thick book. It was like 800 pages. And, they had pictures in there of the world's tallest man, the world's shortest man, the world's fattest man, everything you could imagine. Well, my brother and I said, all right, we're going to go through that book. We're going to find something that we can do where we'll be the world record holders. What could we possibly do? Well, at the time we were thinking probably can't be the shortest, the tallest, hopefully not the fattest. There's a lot of things that probably weren't achievable. But there was one record that we looked at and thought, if we worked at it, we could probably make it. And that was the farthest distance that a frisbee had ever been thrown. And at the time, it was only 330 feet or something, the length of a football field, and just a little extra. And so my brother and I said, well, we throw a frisbee and we can throw it 20 or 30 yards. Surely we could, if we really tried, we could throw that the length of a football field, right? So let's go try it. So we each got frisbees. Nothing fancy, no special distance or speed frisbee, just the kind you bought for $1 down at the dime store. But we went down to the nearest field. We threw those frisbees, trying to throw it 100 yards or so. We never achieved it, but we got quite the workout because here's the secret. I guess if you had 100 frisbees, a little bit easier. But when my brother and I each only had one frisbee, you throw the frisbee, it only goes for about 40 yards or so, and then it rolls another 20 yards. You've got to walk all that way to get it every time you make an effort. We didn't break the world record at that point in time, but we got one heck of a workout. We did. We quickly realized that maybe it was a little bit harder to do than we thought. Now, having said that, I think the record now for frisbee throwing is like 1,300 meters or something. It's like a quarter of a mile. It's a long distance. So I don't think I'll be breaking any world records at this point in time with my frisbee skills. Would have been fun, but didn't quite achieve it. How many frisbees are on the roofs? Fortunately, we were out in a pretty big field, but not so much roofs. I mean, we had those. We used to have frisbee eating trees, kite eating trees, frisbee eating trees. It just seems like every house had that one tree that everything would get stuck in. Now, back in the day, I was quite the climber. We would get up into some of those trees, and it was always a little bit of test of courage. Do kids do this anymore? Y'all tell me. We would see who was brave enough to go higher than anyone else in some of these trees, and you would get up to the top where you'd hold a branch and you could just feel it weaving back and forth and just that close to snapping, and you go tumbling down to the very bottom. It's a good thing back in the day that my mom and dad and all the other neighbors' parents didn't necessarily sit out in the yards and watch us. They just said, y'all go play, be back in time for dinner. That was our curfew. Be back in time for dinner. We climbed some trees, and heck, if I'd been in the rainforest, I would have been the one at the top of the canopy looking out over the rest of the world, because I could get pretty high up in those trees. So I was one of the ones who was always going up there to try to get out the frisbees and the kites and the little wind them up helicopters that you'd launch, the little water bottle rockets, things like that, all kinds of stuff. All right, enough of the frisbee throwing. What else do we have going on in here? Cindy saying, tell us about the Dixie chicken. Yeah, that was just kind of a random background. I hadn't used it before. For those of you who are not familiar, you may know that I went to Texas A&M, right? And cheer on my Aggies a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure you know that. At Texas A&M in College Station, which is about an hour and a half or so north and west of Houston. It's two little cities. Bryan has been a city that's been there forever. Right next to is College Station, which is pretty much mainly for Texas A&M. It's kind of the college town. Well, there's a little section called Northgate, which is just a bunch of bars and stuff right across the street from the university, from the campus. Well, there's one bar, the Dixie Chicken, which opened, I want to say, in 1972 or so, somewhere right around there, middle 70s, early 70s. It opened right about the time that Texas A&M started letting women attend, and originally A&M only let men in, and you had to be in the military or you had to be in ROTC. It was a military school. Well, then they started changing the rules in the late 60s, early 70s. They started letting women attend. They said it's voluntary whether you want to be in the Corps of Cadets, the ROTC program, or not. And so it started getting to be more like it is now, a regular. We're not regular, but a more standard type university. Well, right about the time that happened, the Dixie Chicken opened up. If you go inside, it is very much the definition of a saloon. There's tables at the front for playing dominoes. They're playing country western music. There's wood everywhere. There's signs. They have towards the side of the in some. They've got some little cutouts in the side, so they've got rattlesnakes in there, so you can actually look at the rattlesnakes in their aquariums while you're drinking pool. Pool tables in the back. It's just a honky tonk saloon kind of hangout. Probably the most famous bar at one point. Talk about Guinness Book of World Records. At one point, because it's not a huge bar, at one point it had the Guinness Book of World Records record for selling the most beer per square foot of any location in the United States. Yeah, a lot of people drank a lot of beer at the Dixie Chicken. We would go over there because I lived right across the street from it. So that was just kind of my home away from home. I spent a lot of evenings, instead of going to the discos, am I dating myself there? Instead of going to dance clubs and all that, there are many nights that we would just go hang out at the Chicken all night long, play dominoes, drink just a little bit of beer, play a little pool, and just hang out. Sing along karaoke before karaoke was even a thing, singing along to the country western music and all that. It's just a very relaxing place to go hang out. They have still a monthly 42 tournament. 42 is a kind of dominoes game that's big here in Texas. And I actually went to one or two of those. You pay like $5 to buy in, and the winner at the end of the night gets a couple $100 or whatever. And I actually showed up and played in a couple of those things. I was kind of the celebrity that showed up, and it was so funny. I'm sitting there playing 42, and I had several students who had heard that I was at the Chicken, so they came across from the dorms and everything, and came over, and we talked Big Brother all night long and took pictures. It was so much fun. I had a blast doing it. So, yeah, that's always my nostalgic memory of college. I don't remember the test. I don't remember all that stuff. I remember hanging out with a whole bunch of really good friends at the Dixie Chicken. I can still smell it. Oh, they cooked burgers in the back, and they had jerky that you could buy, and cheese fries and all of that. They've got a thing called Bottle Cap Alley along the side of the bar. All the bottle caps, they just throw them out in the alley. So now it's just solid bottle caps from one end to the other that people walk on. It's very famous because of that. So there you go. I'll probably a whole lot more information about the Chicken than you all necessarily want. But if you're ever in Bryan College Station, go to the Chicken. All right. My mom says, "Hey, Mom, how are you doing?" Here's my mom giving us information about our college bars. My mom says it opened up in 1974. Okay. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. But here's what's funny is I knew a guy who's part owner of the Chicken. He'd already graduated way before I was gone, but I met him later in life, and he was a part owner right after I got out of school. He had already sold his share of the business, but he came back to College Station. I guess I still was in school because he came back. I went over there, hung out with him. Well, he knew the current owner of the bar, so I got to spend all night upstairs in this guy's office, just talking about the Dixie Chicken and everything. And this guy, we watched Austin City Limits, and they played a bunch of country western music and all. It's just fun. It's just a fun place that brings back all kinds of memories of college. Everyone's got one of those, right? So there you go. All right, thank you, Mom. 1974, I was close. I knew it was like 72, 74, somewhere right along that time period. All right, let's see. A couple of additional comments. Here's one. Mark Taylor saying, "Are you following Special Forces? It's one heck of a show. uh, do many hard tasks. Do you think you could do many of these tasks? Well, I love that show, Mark. I've been watching it. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's really good. I mean, some of these celebrity shows I mentioned before, not maybe my, not really what I enjoy watching because I that just kind of like, oh, come on, guys, stop. Just be serious about something. So, this one, yeah, they do hard tasks, really hard tasks. And I'm into it. I'm buying into it. I think they're trying. I think the ones who are out really are out because they're suffering and they don't want to put up with it anymore. Uh, they don't give them any leeway because they're celebrities. Now I'm gonna be upset if after the show's over, I find out that when they weren't filming, they got to go down to the local Hyatt hotel and hang out luxury, get massages or something. I don't think that's the case. But as far as could I do it? Could I do the show and everything? Yeah, I'm a bit of a glutton for punishment. I think there's a lot of things they've had to do, like falling out of helicopters into the ocean. You know, you don't move, you fall like a stick. Falling off the side of a cliff, and you're depending on your partner to stop the rope right before you splat on the ground. I could do all of that. Here's where I'd have difficulties, Mark. The challenges that involve trusting your partner or doing something that's potentially a little scary. Because I'm kind of scared of heights, but I'd still jump out of a chopper just because how cool would that be? And they had one where a car goes into the water. You have to wait a minute while you're underwater and then undo your belt and get out. I could do all that stuff because I don't think I panic that much under pressure, well, for the most part. What would get me is just the in betweens where they say, "All right, get up to the top of that mountain," or there was one last week where they had to push a jeep and carry a lot of equipment. Carrying the stuff isn't that hard, but you got some guy that starts yelling at me to, yeah, run the next 2 miles while you got this big old 100-pound backpack on you or something. That would push me a little bit to the limit. Although I'm trying to get in a little bit better shape, and I think I'm still in better shape than one or two of those people who are having to run back and forth. But that would be my task, is just some of the just exhaustion type stuff. More so than are you too scared to do it? I'd do it all. I'd just be a little exhausted at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm enjoying that program. I truly am. All right, what else do we have on here? Yeah, let's talk about another reality show that I'm really enjoying, that I really enjoyed because I binged watched it all weekend long. How many of y'all have watched The Traitors yet? It's on the Peacock channel, so it's they're a little sneaky. They let you watch the first episode for free, and then you got to pay for the rest. But I have a feeling there's a lot of people that know someone who may have a subscription to the Peacock network, or I don't know what streaming platforms, Hulu or YouTube. I don't know where all it's carried. But if you search for it, you can find it online and watch this thing. I gotta say, The Traitors, an incredible show. I enjoyed it so much. I'm being very careful as I talk about it because I don't want to give away any spoilers whatsoever, because that wouldn't be any fun. I hope y'all aren't giving away spoilers on the comments. I'm going to try to, I've already seen it, so you can't spoil it for me, but other people, I don't want it to be spoiled because it was so much fun. 20 people, 10 people, just regular, people who haven't necessarily been on TV before. And then 10 people, reality TV. We had Rachel and Cody from Big Brother. We had Stephanie LaGrossa and Siri from Survivor. We had Ari from The Bachelor, Brandy from Real Housewives, Kate from Below Deck. So a lot of representation from a lot of different reality TV, plus 10 people we haven't seen before on TV. One of the people who was on there, and I had no clue until I started watching it, is a girl by the name of Angelica. And the reason that it's a little special, she's Tommy Bracco's cousin. They do podcasts together, and I've never met her because I haven't been able to get up to Long Island to New York, Staten Island, visit Tommy and all that. But yeah, his cousin Angelica was on The Traitors, and I don't want to spoil it, but she was on it, and so it was a blast watching her and cheering for her as well. I didn't realize that there's a BBC version, so now I'm gonna have to go back and watch the BBC version as well. They don't hold back on their challenge. They've got some tough ones in there, and again, I'm not going to give anything away, but there's challenges that involve a little skills and strategy. Some of them just kind of dealing with some of your worst fears and all of that. There's a lot of different types. There's a lot of surprises in there, a few twists that are thrown in throughout the entire season. I loved it. 10 episodes, and we watched it all over the span of 2 evenings. So 5 or 6 hours the first night, and then 3 or 4 hours the second night. And it was so worth it. And now I've heard they're already going to be doing a second season of it. I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, Cliff, you ought to do The Circle and all of that." I haven't finished The Circle. I'm close. I'm just not quite to the end. I got a few more episodes to go, but lots of people saying, "Oh, you got to do The Circle," and I've never known how well I would do with the emojis and talking strictly through a computer and all that. I'm more about my hands and my face and expressiveness and all of that. It'd be tough when I couldn't utilize any of that. So I've always wondered about that. But I got to say, put me on the traitors. Make me a traitor. Make me one of the villains that gets to murder someone every night and kick them off the show. It would be so much fun. I think that'd surprise people as well. Because who would expect me to be a traitor? Well, maybe some of y'all, but hopefully, I would think most people wouldn't. So yeah, it'd be so much fun. Tammy Flanagan saying Traitors was amazing. I saw it coming though. Yeah, again, I'm not going to throw out any spoilers, but I was making predictions from start to finish, and there's certainly some people I was cheering for, and some people right off the bat that I thought, these people don't have a chance making it to the end, and others I thought were going to do pretty well, and to some degree, I was correct. But so much fun watching. Oh, I had to buy it. If you haven't watched it, that's my recommendation. Is to watch Traitors. There's some good reality TV going on. And speaking of reality TV, hadn't happened yet, but I've seen the little announcements. Big Brother US casting starts in February. That's like 10 days from now. I don't know if it starts February 1st or somewhere just a little after that, but I have seen a little flyer that we're getting close to that time. So y'all know how I feel about getting someone that watches Cliff Notes Live, getting someone on the Big Brother from here. Oh, it'd be so cool. So if you're old enough that you can play the game, try out. Why do you have to lose? It'd be so much fun. You would have such a built-in fan base. We'd be talking about you. We wouldn't have Cliff Notes Live just on Monday nights. We'd have Cliff Notes Live every single night, cheering you on and supporting you every step of the way. So I got that. All right, Mark is saying, when is Canada Big Brother starting? February or March? I don't know. I can't remember, Mark, when it started the last couple of years. Somewhere around there, right? I want to say after Valentine's Day, but not too much after. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't heard that much about it. I'm still a little irritated because I wasn't able to watch the last part of last season because Global TV makes it so hard to watch Big Brother here in the United States. I don't know why they do. They've got a lot of people who would watch it. If they would just give us the option to do some kind of subscription or something, but you can't even do that. So you have to go out and find it. I had a place where I was watching the first part, and then it just didn't seem to work that well towards the end. It got really frustrating. So I never saw the last 2 weeks, and I know how it turned out and all that. But yeah, I wish Canada would help us out a little bit because I would love to watch even more the Big Brother Canada and the live feeds and all that. But last year a little tough. But yeah, it's got to be starting pretty quick. We didn't have big celebrity Big Brother, but Big Brother Canada will be here pretty quick. Vicky Stone saying, does your wife watch shows with you? Yeah, oh yeah. We watch almost all of our shows together. There's a few shows that she saves up, like when I travel. Sharon saves up a whole bunch of Hallmark movies and things like that, and watches all of her Hallmark shows. Because not that I don't like them, it's just I kind of feel like once you've seen one or two, you can pretty much predict the plot on all. Yeah, I know. Guilty pleasure. But yeah, she tends to watch those. But when I'm home, I watch them with her. But she watches those a lot more than I do. And then there's shows that I watch that she says, I got no desire to watch that. And let me give you an example of that one. We watched The Menu, right? And we both enjoyed that. Kind of different, but we both enjoyed it. There's a show that I'm watching that she had zero desire to watch, a movie. And I'm halfway through it. I started watching it last night. Just didn't quite get to that halfway through. Midsummer. Have y'all seen that? That's how you pronounce it, right? It's spelled Midsommer. Midsummer. I don't know. Swedish. The Swedes. ABBA, not other than ABBA. Swedes sometimes you question a little bit. Nah, I've never been to Sweden. I'd love to go there. I'd love to go there. I can't do a Swedish accent, but Midsummer. Kind of a strange, kind of a creepy movie. Sharon saw just the first little bit of it, said, "Yeah, no, you watch that. I'm gonna go do something else." So that's my little movie I'm watching by myself. But all these reality shows, yeah, we watch them. We watch them all together, and plenty of commentary and all of that, which is fun. Even now, after I was on Big Brother, we still have different viewpoints because I was in the house. So lots of times we'll be watching an episode and she'll be talking about this, and that. And I say, oh, but when we were actually in there, you don't know this is going on, or you don't see this and that. And then she'll remind me of things that happened that I wasn't aware of during my season. And so it's fun. We enjoy, we do a lot of talking back and forth while we're watching our shows, a lot of commentary, especially these reality shows. I told it when I tried out for Big Brother, I told the producers, said, I've watched every season since season 8, and I've always replayed the scenarios in my head. And amazingly, I've won every single season in my head when I've played it out. And I think Allison Grodner said, yeah, a lot of people feel like they could win every season coming in. So, yeah, I feel like that. But Sharon and I do a lot of that, saying, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that. And we'll go back and forth comparing notes and what we think someone should have or shouldn't have done. So yeah, Sharon and I, we watch a lot of these reality shows. I watch more reality than just about anything else. All right, what else? Lawrence Santo, can you do a live stream with you and your wife commenting on a show? That'd be kind of fun. I don't know. We'll have to find the right show. That'd be interesting. Maybe we'll keep that in mind. I gotta find one. I got to convince Sharon to come on, and I got to find a show that would be fun to do a lot of commentary on. I don't know, do RuPaul's Drag Race or something, right? Yeah, that would be interesting. Now, I'll look. We'll keep that in mind. Miss Fire saying, sending in audition tape soon. Good, Miss Fire. I'll do it. Be so cool. It'd be so great. When you send in your tapes, your video, I guess they aren't even tapes anymore. When you send in your video, just keep in mind that they want to know someone who's a little over the top, right? They always like drama and chaos and all of that. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that'll get you on Big Brother, I think, my own little opinion here, you got to be able to have a conversation. Now you can be kind of quirky. I mean, there's people who may be a little more quiet in the show, and there's a room for that. But for the most part, they want to have someone in there that if you can say something in 15 seconds, but you tend to do it in 5 minutes, they kind of like that. So, make sure that you're very conversational, but more than anything, even than that, is when you're talking, you're doing your video and all that. It's not a job interview. Don't get nervous. Don't get all rehearsed and I've got my answer in PowerPoint bullets and all that. Pretend like you're having a conversation with your best friend, that y'all are sitting there on the phones talking about last night's episode of Big Brother. What'd you think about so-and-so? What would you have done? Oh, I would have done this and that. That's what they want to see. They want to see you having a real conversation as opposed to just some kind of rehearsed speech that doesn't really give them insight into who you are. And it doesn't have to be perfect either. I know Christy talked about how she did 20 takes of her video. She didn't like any one of them. She got frustrated. She just sent in the very first one, even though she knew it had mistakes and all. She got on the show. They don't mind mistakes. We're regular people. People make mistakes talking all the time. Sometimes you pay the price for it. Yeah. Say something a little too loud. Big Brother kind of likes that too sometimes. But try it. The worst thing that'll ever happen is you'll try out and you won't hear back from them. And what have you lost? And nothing. Because even at that, you could still tell someone, hey, I tried out for Big Brother. And for just a few weeks, you'll not know whether they're going to call you back or not. And somewhere in your brain, there'll be that little conversation of, what if they saw my tape and they're getting ready to call me right now? What if I did make it on the show? And that's so much fun. It's so much fun thinking about all that stuff. I did it, and I'd say, yeah, sure. All right. Yeah, it's fun to think about, but a lot of people trying out. You never know. You never know how it's going to work out. All right. Mark saying, what was your first car? Mine was a 68 Pontiac Tempest. I forget. Lawrence is saying mine was a 79 Datsun 280ZX. I remember those Datsun ZXs very well. Mine wasn't quite as impressive as y'all's. My first car was a 1975 Chevrolet Caprice Classic. I paid, I think, $1,000 for it. Yeah, I bought it used, very used. I worked for 1 year at Six Flags over Texas, saved up all my money from working at Six Flags, most of it, and used that to pay the car. My parents helped out with the insurance side of it. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. But it's a 75 Caprice Classic, bronze color. Take the color of a penny, and that was the color of my vehicle. This thing must have been about 20 feet long. It was, I used to call it the boat. It was so long because my parents wanted me to be safe. So it was, and the cars back in the 70s, there's no fiberglass. I guess if you had a Camaro or something, but for the most part, the kind of car I had, no fiberglass involved. This was just hard, heavy metal from front to back. God, that thing was like a tank. Got about 12 miles per gallon mileage. There wasn't anything fancy about it. But that was great. It was my first car. So I had that. From that point on, I could drive to school. I could drive to work by myself. Put in a little radio system in there. I never really had any fender benders growing up. I've had a few over the years, but nothing too serious. But every once in a while, someone would back into me in the parking lot or something, and I'd lose a light. Spent a lot of time going to the junkyard and finding other 75 Caprice Classics and replacing pieces here and there. Back then, you could do work on your car. Now, not so much. It's all so specialized and all that. But yeah, there was nothing at all special about this car, but I loved every bit of it because it was mine, because I'd paid for it, because it gave me liberty and freedom and everything else. And so when was that? That's 82 or so, 1982. So it was about a 7-year-old car when I bought it. And yeah, I love. If I could find one again, an exact replica, I'd buy it. Well, maybe I would. I don't know. It was a big old car, but yeah, 75 Caprice Classic. I can tell you all about that car. I can tell you the difference between a 75 Caprice Classic and a 76 Caprice Classic or a 74. I'm a Caprice Classic kind of expert at this point in time. So yeah, love that car. Ma saying the squirrel is haunted by David Alexander. Oh yeah, poor David. Y'all know David lives here in Houston now. So we are actually supposed to go eat lunch tomorrow, but the weather's supposed to be so bad, we're going to put it off, do a little bit later. But yeah, not a good day for David. Not a good day for David, myself, Kimmy, or Jessica. I tell you, I got back in that house, and the first thing I did, David was gone, which still amazes me. That guy. So have y'all seen him run? If you follow him on Instagram, if you don't, he puts in the miles. He is so athletic. It just didn't work out for him in a dark forest trying to survive that particular first day of Big Brother. So he was gone. I remember getting back in and finding Jessica and Kimmy and telling both of them, saying, we're obviously the underdogs. We didn't get picked just for no reason at all. We obviously aren't part of the popular group. So we got to work together. And let's try to at least help each other out. And they both said, yeah. Well, then they got so busy forming the Black Widows or whatever their women's alliance was. They just threw me off to the side. But it didn't work out. But yeah, that was a tough way to start Big Brother. Someone asked me earlier, what would you change or what do you want to see in the next season of Big Brother? My biggest thing, do not have day one evictions. When you have a day one eviction, all you're doing is forcing people to make decisions based on assumptions and stereotypes and first looks before you get a chance to really see what a person's truly like. And I think when you do that, it can create all kinds of issues in the game of Big Brother. If you don't have that first day eviction, if you wait a week or two before that happens, people get to know each other. And maybe you aren't forced to rely on stereotypes and such, but instead you actually save or protect or boot out based on actual people and their characteristics and behaviors and all of that. So even if it wasn't the fact that I was a victim of it on that day one, I don't like the day one evictions. I never have. Feel so bad for people like Cameron and other people from other seasons who never even got to spend an evening in the Big Brother house. You work so hard to get in there, and then day one, and you're gone. Ah, it would have killed me. It would have been so hard. I was so determined not to lose that first competition, and I don't know. I was gonna say I got lucky, but I actually use a little logic, a little strategy to win that first game and in that maze, and it paid off. But I felt so bad that first day, and I still feel so bad for David that his game was cut short so quick. I'm glad he got to come back and play another season. I'm glad he got to do the challenge. So he's had fun, but that was tough. All right, Lawrence is saying a tree fell on my SUV today. Oh no. Ruined the hood, the fender, and the windshield. Lawrence, that's the typical kind of Monday type situation, isn't it? I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. That is no fun whatsoever. Damn tree. Yeah, probably squirrel after you as well, chewing on it a little something. That's hard. You don't even have someone that you can blame it on, like some crazy driver or something that you can go to insurance for. That's just a tree, right? And maybe insurance covers it, maybe it doesn't, but it's still a hassle to deal with car damage. I spent last week got our cars worked on. I've got a truck that needed a little bit of work done. An Explorer needed a little work done. There's nothing cheap about car repairs either nowadays, right? I like the days of when I had my Caprice and I could go to the junkyard and buy a part for $20 and replace it. No more. Nah, it's all too specialized. All right, Lawrence is saying just another manic Monday. Now you got me thinking Bengals music. I love me some Bengals. Yeah, just another manic Monday. Yeah, let's how many songs could we come up with on Mondays if you had to? I'm Manic Monday. The Boomtown Rats have a song called I Don't Like Mondays, which is a great song if you haven't heard it. I'm sure there's a bunch more out there as well, but challenge for some other day, right? All right. Well, sorry about that, Lawrence. That's no fun at all. I kind of put a whole damper on the week. All right. What else do we have on here? Wish it were Sunday because that's my fun day. Yeah, I'm with you there. Blogs by Abby saying you're literally my favorite Big Brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You should have won. I tried. I hope no one ever thinks that I didn't give it anything other than 100% from start to finish. Every decision I made was, some seasons and some players you hear, I just want to make it to jury. I just want to make it into, the final 5 or 6. No, I was happy to make it to jury because that meant that I'd advanced, far enough to make a mark in the game and all that. So it's not that I wasn't happy to make it. It's a great milestone. But no, from start to finish, it's like I'm going to do what it takes to get all the way to number 1 and not just to get towards the top or something. That was never my goal. And so sometimes kind of like playing blackjack. Sometimes you have to hit on 16, even though the odds say that you probably lose. I felt like that was some of the decisions we made at the very end of the game. Keeping Holly over Tommy, and there's certainly people have criticized that, but it was all what we thought, Nicole and I thought would give us the best chance, not just to make it to the final 2, but to make it to the final 2 and be able to win the grand title. And we came so close. Oh, I saw the path. I saw the path of how it could happen. I just kind of needed to win one more competition, and it just didn't quite work out. But you know what? It's just like football, sports, athletic, anything you do in life. As long as you give it everything you had, then it's hard to have regrets. That's you hold your head high when you get done with it. And at the end of the day, I didn't win the title, but I had a lot of fun. I had a blast on there, and I came back to a family and everything else. So life is good. All right, what else do we have? But thank you for the comments. I do appreciate that. I absolutely do. Lawrence is saying Monday, Mamas and the Papas, and Sarah Carpenter, Shaw Carpenter. But, yeah, rainy days and Mondays always get me down. There's so many of them. I'm too busy talking, and sometimes my lips move faster than the old brain synapses work as well. Because I knew both of those songs about. I was a huge Carpenters fan right about the time I started dating Sharon. And it's not that Sharon didn't like the Carpenters, but she was a little more into country music and a little more up tempo kind of music. She thought the Carpenters a little slow, a little depressing, but man, I would jam to the Carpenters. I'd sing. She got really tired of me doing karaoke, singing "Close to You" and some of the Carpenter. I'm on the top of the world, looking. Yeah, I'm still a big fan of that. I like that kind of music. The Carpenters, Captain and Tennille, ABBA, kind of a 70s child, right? I like them all. Bee Gees. I've been listening a little more Bee Gees here lately. Those guys, incredibly musicians. So there you go. I very much a 70s kind of music person. So they're gonna get me thinking about the Carpenters for the next week or two. Wow, 7:55. Keith Franken saying, what was the squirrel competition called? The one here at the Hog household or back in the Big Brother game? I think I think that competition where we had to make our way out of the forest was called Big Brother. Was it Big Brother Forest? The Black Forest, Big Brother Black Forest. I'm not real sure. It's funny. We played a game OTEV. Oh, we did the OTEV competition, and we had to find bottles that had the listing of all the different competitions, and we would get clues, and we'd have to go down and find the right competition on a little tag and bring it back. And it was interesting because the HOH competition I won was Patch Perfect. The veto competition I won was What the Bleep. So I knew the titles to those two games. Of course, OTEV was before my veto win, but I know what those two are called. But they didn't have a bottle or they didn't have a label for that first competition, and I guess it's because not everyone played in it, so they didn't think it'd be fair to have just me and a couple others know about it. So I never heard the official title, but I want to say it's like BB Black Forest, something like that. I was just happy to get back in. Brian's saying banishment competition. The banishment where we went through the dark maze. Yeah, I want to say BB Black Forest. I could be wrong. I think Julie Chin mentioned it in the episode, but obviously I wasn't. I was there in it. It was so weird, that banishment competition, because it truly, I think I've said this on here before, it truly was so dark in there. You couldn't see your fingers in front of your face. And then it was like the voice of God in the form of Julie Chin saying, Cliff, David, Jessica, Kimmy, here we are in the Black Forest. This is your chance to make it back into the game. And she explained the rules and the loudspeakers overhead. And you're just like, oh God, I got to get back in. I got to get back in. And this is stressful. That was perhaps the most stressful of everything I did in Big Brother. That may have been the most stressful of the whole season, right there thinking, this is it. This is my one shot not to come in last place and make it back into that house. Well, I didn't come in last place. I came in first place. I was committed to finishing that thing up. Oh, it was such a relief. I went through the last little tree trunk, and the little secret for you in the show, in the episode, I go through the last little tree trunk, pop out back into the house. Well, that's not the way it actually worked. What actually happened is I poked my head through the last thing, and there was a person there saying, Cliff, don't say a word, but you finished. And okay. And they immediately put a blindfold on me. They walked me to the entrance, pushed me through the little entrance, and said, now you're in the house. So such a relief when I knew I'd finished up. That was amazing. All right, Kiki saying the Carpenters was my first concert. I was about 12 years old. That would have been all right. I never saw them in concert, but that's pretty cool. I did see Barry Manilow at the Houston Rodeo once. That was kind of a weird juxtaposition, but he was pretty good. Fred Benson saying, like the Bee Gees too. Liar is a favorite song. Like on the Trader. There's so many. I saw the Bee Gees when they performed when they were like 13, 14 years old and all. They had kind of their period before they got more into the disco beat and everything else. They had a little more folk music before that, which is pretty good as well. So yeah, getting a little nostalgic here on Cliff Notes Live, right? And so, some of y'all younger viewers are sitting there saying, what in the heck are they talking about with that old stuff? It'd be like my parents talked to me about blues music or something. Mom saying, yeah, thanks, Cliff. All right. 7:59. All right, I guess we'll shut it down, guys. I try to keep to that 8 o'clock window. Thank you so much. I have so much fun. Again, you never know which direction these conversations are going to go. So, thank you for coming along with me for this conversation. If you haven't already done so, feel free, please, to go out to my YouTube channel, hit the subscription, turn on notifications so you find out whenever this show is coming up, when I drop my recap of the challenge, which I'm still doing as well. And you can hit the little thumbs up, like, also. I've been told that's a good thing. So I appreciate all of it. But more than anything else, I appreciate y'all guys coming out here spending the Monday evening with me. Y'all have a great week. Nasty weather down here, maybe in other parts of the country as well. So stay safe this week, stay warm. And I will be back next Monday, the last Monday of January. We'll talk. Who knows what we're going to talk about next week? Y'all give me some ideas. Anything y'all want to talk about, holler at me, DM, and we'll set it up. Till then, guys, SKD143. Love my wife, love my kids, love all of y'all. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Cheers, my friends. Bye. See y'all later.